So we got, at the time of this recording, around 3 months left in 2024. And I want to show you in this video how you can actually sprint to the finish line and finish this year strong. See, a lot of people start to give up on their goals around this time of year. The gyms start to empty out. Motherfuckers be like, oh, I guess I'll get in shape next year. Next year's my year. Next year's the year I'm gonna make money. That's sucker shit. You need to finish the year strong. If you had not accomplished the goals that you set at the beginning of this year, by now, watch this video and you will make more progress in the next 3 months than you have the whole 9 months before this. This way you can finish the year strong and then go into next year with some goddamn momentum instead of trying to start from ground zero at the beginning of the year like a punk. That's why you failed last time, dummy. Let's get some momentum first. Get a head start. Get a head start, start running. It's kind of like when you see people running the relay race and track. I used to run the relay, and you got to start running first before you get the baton. New Year's is like your 2024 self handing the baton to your 2025 self. You got to grab that shit at full speed and then keep going. You can't fucking be at a dead stop, grab the shit and start running. You're going to lose that race. That's why you lost last year. Let's not make that happen again. Let's get it. The first thing you need to understand to accomplish your goals and make progress within the next 3 months is you're going to need motivation. You're going to need way more motivation than you have now. And there's 2 reasons why people lose motivation. One is they waste it. What do I mean? So I have a whole video on this, but in order to have motivation, you have to have a lot of dopamine. People think of dopamine as just the pleasure hormone, but dopamine is really involved in seeking pleasure or seeking achievement or seeking something. So you guys are wasting your dopamine on empty victories. For example, it looks like this. So you have a reserve of dopamine in your brain. Let's just say this is your dopamine reserve. And remember, you need dopamine to have motivation. Someone with tons of dopamine running through their veins is highly motivated. Someone who lacks dopamine is not motivated. So how do I get motivation? You're wasting your dopamine. Now, people say you get a dopamine spike when you engage in certain activities, right? And we'll talk about some of the things that spike dopamine. But the truth is, it's not a dopamine. It's kind of a dopamine spike. But what happens is, your body rushes more dopamine to the surface and then it spills out, right? You use your dopamine on other shit. So this can be video games, drugs, casual sex, vices, dumb shit, surfing the internet. And what happens is after that dopamine spills out, there is less of it. And now it's okay in moderation, I guess, because over time your dopamine reserves will replenish. But what happens is a lot of you guys don't give yourself time for your dopamine to replenish. So you play the video games every day. You smoke that OG Kush every day. You surf the internet all the time. You go out to the club, party, chase hoes all the time. And you drink alcohol all the time. All these things will spike your dopamine. And what happens is your dopamine reserves will not have enough time to replenish on those circumstances. And when that happens, you start to lose motivation. So the first thing you need to do is cut out vices. I'm not asking you to do it forever. I'm saying, hey, let's do it for the next 90 days. Cut out vices. What that's going to happen is you're going to have a backlog of dopamine. It's going to allow your dopamine reserves to replenish themselves. And then you're going to have way more motivation. You're going to be way less lazy because you're not wasting your dopamine on empty victories. This is very important. This is why it's important to cut out vices. One, vices waste your time. You spend time chasing hoes, getting drunk, getting high, partying, all this other shit. And what happens is you spend time you could have been deploying against your goals. You spend it on the vices. And then you spend the recovery time from the vices. You go out on a rager all night. You drinking, getting high, chasing bitches all night. Next day, you're not going to have as much energy. You're going to be off the next day. But also, you're not going to have enough dopamine to accomplish your goals, especially the boring shit. If you go to the strip club tonight, start throwing racks around, getting drunk, getting high, getting lap dances, maybe doing all types of shit that people do at strip clubs, you really going to do accounting the next day on your business? You really going to be working on some fucking boring parts of your business? No, because the contrast is going to be too great. You just did something super exciting and now you're doing to do something super boring. You're going to be less motivated to do that just from contrast, but also because you depleted your dopamine. But if you don't waste your dopamine on empty victories, you'll have more motivation. The next thing you need for motivation is you need to understand what Freud called the pleasure pain principle. So Freud said that humans are always moving towards pleasure or away from pain. perceived pleasure or perceived pain. So right now you're chasing vices because you associate pleasure with your vices, and you associate pain with, you know, eating right, studying, working hard. You associate pain with it, so you're running from it. That's normal. What we have to do is exchange your associations with pain and pleasure. And the only way I know how to do that is with something I call the list of hate and the list of great. Make a list. I suggest people do it in their phones, Apple Notes or something. Fucking pin this note to your top of your Apple Notes. I'm sure that Android has something similar. Fucking nerds. Nerd notes. I'm just fucking with you. I got an iPhone and Android. I don't live a life of scarcity. I'm rich. Anyway, there's some sort of note application. You pin it to the top on your phone. You want to look at it every day. So what you want to do is make a list of hate. Make a list of all the people who've ever crossed you. All the people who said you couldn't do it. All the people who said that you would fail. Chicks who cheated on you. Motherfuckers who hated on you. That black guy who fucked your girlfriend. I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. You're probably watching. Don't hate the player, hate the game, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Make a list of all these motherfuckers, right? And then look at it every day. And this way, you know, when you're not working on your goals, when you're doing something that's not moving you in the direction of accomplishing your ambitions, the haters are winning. The haters are winning every time you're not focused. Every time you eat that shit you're not supposed to eat, the haters are happy. Every time you don't do the shit on your to-do list, the haters are happy. Every time you fail, the haters are happy. That bitch who dumped you, a year from now, she's gonna look at your shit and she's gonna laugh like, whoo, I sure did dodge a bullet. Glad I fucked that black guy instead of staying with that loser. Look at him. He's still in his mama's house. That's what you don't want. And remember, if somebody hates on you or says you can't accomplish your goal and you don't accomplish it, they weren't hated. They were correct. They just made a fair assessment of your capabilities. These motherfuckers were right. You're either proving them right or you're proving them wrong. So remember that. Then you want to make a list of great. Imagine a version of yourself who's already accomplished all your goals, all your big goals, all your aspirations. What time does that person wake up? What time does that person go to bed? Does that person get fucking drunk all night? Is he out chasing hoes all night? Maybe, I don't know. You tell me. Is he eating fucking candies and cakes like a child? Or is he tracking his macros? Is he working on his business? Is he fucking partying? Is he watching reality TV show or playing video games all day? What is he really doing? How does he behave? Make a list and look at that list every day and imagine yourself as that person. And here's what happens. Every time you act in accordance to what's on your list, you're going to get a reward. You're going to start feeling better about yourself. You're going to start being proud of yourself. A lot of you guys lack confidence because you're not fucking proud of yourself. You haven't given yourself a reason to be confident in yourself. But once you start acting in accordance of what's on your list of great, when you start acting like the guy you need to be to accomplish your goals, you'll start believing it. You'll start being proud of yourself. You'll start to like yourself more. You'll have more confidence. When a motherfucker talks shit about me, it sounds fucking ridiculous to me. I just laugh because I know how I behave every day. I know how fucking hard I go. I know what kind of work I put in for myself, my customers, my family, my employees. I know what kind of sacrifices I make. Motherfucker talk shit about me. I just kind of laugh to myself because it sounds ridiculous. I don't even have to say nothing. I don't say nothing most of the time, unless I think it's something funny, in which I will. But that's just for entertainment purposes. I don't really give a shit because I know I'm that nigga. But it's not because I'm better than them. It's just I know that I'm acting in accordance of what's on my list of great. You got to give yourself a reason to be confident in yourself. And this will give you that. And what happens once you look at both these lists every day, you will change your association with pain and pleasure. Now you're going to associate pain with vices, with video games, with all that bullshit. And you're going to associate pleasure with accomplishing your goals, with working hard, with actually grinding. And the beauty of it is it won't take discipline. I used to think discipline was super important. And it is, right? It is. It's definitely a tool, but you can't rely on discipline. You can't rely on discipline. Once you start exposing yourself to this list of hate, list of great every day, you change your association with pain and pleasure. And then, you know what? You'll need discipline to stop working. I need discipline to go to sleep every day because I want to stay up and keep working. I need discipline to go on vacation. I was on vacation with my girl for her birthday. It took discipline for me to do that shit. It takes discipline for me to not work because I changed my association with pain and pleasure. So instead of fighting this shit all the time with discipline, in fact, nah. I enjoy it. When people say you need to enjoy life, you got to live a little. That's because they don't enjoy what they do. But once you change your association with pain and pleasure, then what happens is you'll start to enjoy life when you're working hard. You start to enjoy life by pushing yourself, seeing what you're made of. The people who are telling you need to chill, you need to enjoy life, you got to take it easy, you work too hard. What they don't understand is that you enjoy life more than them, because they're associating enjoying life with vices, partying, getting drunk, vacations. But you can't do that shit every day. At least you should. You can push yourself every day. You can work on your goals every day. You can work to capacity every day. And if you learn to enjoy it, the only way I know how to do that is changing association with pain and pleasure with the list of hate and list of great. Once you make that transition, you'll be enjoying life way more than them. That's what they don't understand. So that's going to give you the motivation. Then you need belief. And there's a few things that come from getting the belief. You got to believe you can do it. And the way you get belief, I look at it like this. First thing you want to do to increase your belief is you need exposure. You need to be around it. So one of the first things I did when I was trying to come up is I moved to New York. I moved to this area called Forest Hills in Queens. And even though it was in Queens, it was like a rich area. I think Donald Trump went to school there and shit, because, he grew up a millionaire. And there was I had this small apartment there. Super small. The reason I can afford it is because it was right next to the train. I could hear the Long Island Railroad go by. Seemed like every few minutes, a few times an hour. And if the TV was on, you would have to pause it because you couldn't hear it past the train, and you would hear it all the time, all night, or whatever. That's why it was cheap. But across those train tracks, big mansions, right? And I would ride my bike through those mansions. I would take the scenic route through those mansions to go to the gym, New York Sports Club on Austin Street in Forest Hills. And people who lived in those mansions would be there. I got exposure to it, and it started to be more real when I started to feel it. It's difficult to believe you can accomplish this goal if you're in the hood. And the next part of that is proximity. So some kind of way, you need to get around people who are doing it. I don't care if it's joining a mastermind, joining a group of people, getting a mentor, anything that show you that it's real. I remember when I was first trying to build my online fitness business, I became friends with a dude named Elliot Holst, who became like a mentor, like a big brother to me. And I saw that he was a millionaire from online fitness. And I was like, fuck, this dude's doing it. And I believed it. He was a tan colored black guy like me he was from New York, and he was a millionaire, and he did it. And I was like, oh shit, this is real. This can really happen. And he gave me a lot of game. He gave me a lot of tips on how to build it. So he shortened my learning curve as well. The next thing you need after you increase your belief is you have to raise your standards, because you don't get what you want. You get what you have to have. You won't rise to your ambitions. You're going to fall to your standards. And we need to raise our standards, right? So it has to become a must. It can't be like, oh, I'm trying to do this. No, we're not try babies. We're either going to do it or not. And the best ways to do that is to increase the pain. Make it a must. Now, later in this video, I'm going to go to some more tactical stuff. This is higher. But so the best way to do that, we already talked about it, list of hate. And then listen, negative visualization. I know people talk about positive visualization, but what if you did some negative visualization? What if you really thought about how bad it would be if you didn't accomplish his goals? Or what's the worst that can happen? Get serious about this if you don't accomplish it. Something I think about is, once my son is older, right now he thinks I'm the man. He thinks I'm the coolest motherfucker alive. But he's a kid. He's 7. He don't really know shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's still right, but I'm just saying it's based off limited knowledge. But what happens when he gets older, right? Will I still be as influential? Will I be as influential as the rappers or the celebrities? I want to be the most influential person in his life. And I know if I'm not, then he may be negatively influenced by these motherfucking, whoever the celebrity is, or vloggers or fucking streamers, motherfuckers out here acting like jackasses or whatever. I need to be so motherfucking dope that when he sees me, he's like, nah, my dad said this. Fuck what little so-and-so said. My dad said this is the way to do it, and he's the motherfucking man. That's just one way to do it, but you want to make it a must, because you don't get what you want, you get what you have to have. So we need to increase the pain, because if you're just, I'm trying to do this, you a try baby, man, and you're not going to get it. You don't get what you want, you get what you have to have. The last thing you need to do is actually plan your goals. And when I say plan them, I mean planning out every step with deadlines for each step. So in the description, we have something called the Victory Ambition Planner. This is just example data. So in each column, what you want to do is you put each goal here, and then you put out each step to each goal. And then in each step, you put a deadline to each step. That's the important part, a deadline to each step in the goal. Then and once you put a deadline to each step, and it might be a big goal. So, plan out to the end of the year, make it 90 days, 90-day increments. And what you can do is you can click this tab and it'll show you, all right, here's what you got to do this month. Here's the things on the docket this month. And you'll see all the tasks you have to do and what goal they're assigned to. And then what you want to do is you want to estimate how long it's going to take you to do these things, each step, and then put that when you're going to do it in your calendar, right? Put when you're going to do it in your calendar. And then you can put this month, or you can do it by this week. So I'll go to this week. And let's say this one right here, cash flow progressions. Once you start it, boom, you're moving it in progress. And you see this one. Let's say it's not started, and the date we didn't even start, so we got to pick a new due date for this. I made this like a week ago, so we changed the due date, no problem. This way, if you don't hit the goal, you can change it. Boom, design unique thumbnail. Let's say this is in progress. Let's say set up playlist and organize content. I'm just saying, let's say this is done, and then boom, now we can see where we're at with the progress, and we can see where we're at for the week. And this way, you can stay on track, and then you can hit the progress bar and see where all your tasks, where you're at. So there's different graphs here. Now these are mostly like for the one-time tasks. That's what the ambition planner is for. The other part is the success tracker. So in this success tracker, you can do the daily habits that you need to do each day. So you can track, all right, how many hours you worked on your goal, how much income you made. Then, I have some health markers in there because you got to have a fitness goal. Boom. So man, you're supposed to work out. Did you work out or not? Boom. And then it gives you the checklist. Do you have your carbs, proteins, and fats? And this is dynamic. You put your calories burned if you're tracking how many calories you burn each day. And you should be with like an Oura Ring, a Whoop, or Apple Watch. You put that in here, and then you put how many calories you consume. Obviously, you should be tracking your macros if you're not tracking your snack. And it'll tell you if you're in a caloric deficit or surplus, for example. So this changes based off what you put in. So you put in your calories, fat. Let's say he had, let me change the fat to 70. You see all of these change. The calories he consumed and the deficit, right? It adds up. All you got to do is put in the macros. The calories will show up here. And then you put in how many you burn and show your deficit. And then you put your weight in here. Now you can add more stuff to this tracker, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to fuck up. You don't want to edit the weight, and you don't want to change the income, because there's charts to go with this. So with this one, this is actually real data for one of my one-on-one clients. This part is real data. The other one was dummy data, but this is real data. So we show how much money he was making each day. Boom. He was moving up every day. And this one was moving down. So like this, and this chart is dynamic. If I change this to like 10,000, you'll see the chart moves. So it's dynamic. You don't want to fuck with that. You just want to put your numbers in, and the chart will be associated with that. And you can download this for free. And then what happens is, if you're tracking your habits each day, you can add more habits if you want. All you got to do, if you want to add more habits, you just click this, add more habits that you want to track. But you see at the bottom, we have averages, we have how much they checked it. It's really cool. And then you can also change the goals. But this now we can actually look at our goals and see how far we are on each one of these. We can see where we're in progress, what's done, what's not. We can look at everything. We can see what we have to do this month and where we're at. We can see what we have to do this week and where we're at. And this way we can see our progress and we can measure it. It's 100% free, link in the description. But you also got to put the shit in your calendar as well. So here's what you do. Download this Victory Success Tracker and now go watch my video on time management in your calendar. Go check that out right now.